Two young men are killed in a horrific car crash that may have been caused by speeding, according to police. Police say the driver lost control of the wheel, crashing into a gas station at Whaley Avenue and Amity Road this morning. News 8's Jackie Slater live on the scene tonight as police work to figure out how it happened.
13 hours after this accident happened, and you can see behind me that investigators are still on the scene. That car is still lying on its side, and the victims were in that car until about an hour ago when their bodies were removed. Now, I've been out here all day. We've spoken to people who work and live in the area, and they say this intersection is a recipe for disaster. They knew something was going to happen, but they could have never imagined that it would be this bad.
I knew something was going to happen here because this intersection is very dangerous, very dangerous. Too many lights, too many things going on. People are driving crazy.
A car hits the curb, launches into the air, and flies 90 feet before hitting the canopy at a mobile station. That's what police say happened Thursday morning on Whaley Avenue in New Haven. Now, 2 men are dead and another is in the hospital.
This is one of the most tragic accidents that we've seen in quite a while in New Haven.
Police say the call came in just after 5 a.m. Miraculously, one man was able to walk away from the scene.
The person who was injured was found actually in a parking lot walking around with some facial injuries, but otherwise nothing life-threatening and not that serious.
For hours, the road remained closed as investigators took measurements, trying to reconstruct what happened. Police say while the loss of 2 lives is tragic, the situation could have been much worse.
It looks like the car actually struck the overhead, which then toppled and kind of went over the pumps. But all service stations, fuel stations have emergency shutoff valves that in this case certainly worked. And there was no explosion, there was no fire.
Accidents like that don't happen around here, you know. They really had to have been flying to cause that kind of damage.
And investigators say it appears speed was definitely a factor in this accident. Now, police have yet to make positive identifications on those victims, but we are told that all 3 involved were men. They were in their late 20s or early 30s. Now, all day there was a group of people gathered near the scene. They believe they are the family and friends of one of those victims. And if it does turn out that indeed one of those men was their friend or relative, this story becomes a little more tragic, as last week that man's girlfriend died suddenly, and she was also pregnant with their unborn child. But again, we are waiting positive identification on these victims. Live in New Haven, Jackie Slater, News 8.